Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have kind of a unique review. I guess for me it would be unique because you guys are probably used to looking straight down at my bed, looking at stuff like this and like this. Today we are not going to be looking at stuff like this, but instead are looking at a way to sharpen those. So I guess to start us off, I'm going to show you guys how to put this little number together just to show how easy it is, just so I can end it here. This is the WorkSharp Precision Sharpener. This is my own personal sharpener that I have been using for the past few months, kind of testing it out. I have put my whetstones to the side and have started using only this guy to sharpen my blades. And it's actually been going really well, but I'll get into that more when I talk about what I like and don't like about this sharpener. But before I do, I'm going to show you guys how to use this guy, just for those of you who may be looking to pick this guy up. So I'm going to take out the stones real fast just so you guys can kind of see this. So there's a little twist bit right there that you can just twist like that to open up this little clamp piece. Now for this demonstration, I'm going to use the ZT0452CF. So you take your knife, the back of your knife, put it right there. You want to put it right about the middle of the knife blade. And then, gosh, guys, sorry, I'm like really messing up here. Oh my goodness gracious, it's only getting worse, isn't it? Yeah, by the way, this was not scripted, in case you guys couldn't tell. I am facing the opposite direction, so I thought I was tightening it the right way, but nope. Anyways, so that's all it really takes. Then if you want, you can put this guy back in. And boom, bam, there you go. You got a sharpener. So this guy is really easy to set up and put the knife in and stuff like that. But once you get to this point here, what I recommend doing is putting a Sharpie line against the actual sharpened edge there at the end. Then you're just going to start with your 320 grit. Find out what angle works by just kind of going like this until you see the Sharpie kind of going away. Then you're just going to give it a nice good scrape, just like so. Kind of working on that edge. Sorry, I think my post here needs oil. But once you get to that point there and you feel good about that, this is gonna, the 320 grit's definitely gonna kind of, if you have a rolled edge or anything like that, it'll help to smooth it out and make things a little nicer. Then you're gonna go over to your 600 grit. This is a lot finer grit that's just gonna help work on your edge a little bit. Now you can do a little back and forth motion, you can do a little rounded motion like so, or you can do my personal favorite, which is just the straight down like so. This is kind of what I usually do on most of my knife blades, just kind of this downward angle here. Also, sorry about the squeaking. And then boom. Now when you get to this point here, in order to flip the knife over to get the other side, you're going to press in on this button in the back. It should be right here. You're just going to push on that, and the blade will flip around. And then you just do the same thing on this side. Just give it a good scrape. I'm kind of doing a lot of different cutting angles here just to really get optimal sharpen, I guess you could say. So as you guys can see, though, it's very easy. I mean, a toddler could do something like this. Like, it's super duper easy. Check your edge, make sure you're good. And then you're going to round it all off with this nice ceramic stone, which you're going to take to really refine the edge and make sure everything's cleaned up and good. Really make that edge shine. Now, again, super easy process. You're going to finish everything off with a nice good strop. Unfortunately, I left my strop at home. In case you guys don't know, I am in college, so unfortunately, my strop is not with me. But it is back home. Luckily, I have a couple kind of coarse belts that I actually use. Also, in case you guys saw that right there, sometimes it might fall off the track, but it's mainly because this sharpener is kind of could work on larger knives as well as knives that are about this size. This is about a 9-inch knife, by the way. for those of you who don't know the ZT 0452CF. But as you guys can see, there you go. You got a fine edge right there. Very sharp. I actually almost just cut myself, which kind of scared me. But that's how you use this guy. So now that I've given you guys kind of a demonstration, now I'm going to go over what I like and don't like about this knife sharpener, and if I can recommend it for you guys. First and foremost, just going from what I did at the beginning, putting this guy together and taking it apart is extremely easy. It is a 10 to 15 second process, and it makes this thing come super compact, yet when you put it together, it's actually pretty big. Like, it's actually going to have some pretty good angles on it, which is really, really cool to be able to have a nice package like this, but it also being able to condense down. I'm now realizing how that sounds. I'm sorry. But anyways, another thing I really like about this guy is this little degree system here. It shows you which degree to have your little thing here, your little, I guess it would just be the pin here. Now, if you twist this, it'll either raise it or it'll lower it. Now, I find for most of my knives, 20 degrees is right on the money, maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher, depending on the knife, but works really well, and I'm really happy they have that there, because they honestly maybe couldn't, like, don't write that, and then you're going to kind of have to figure it out yourself, which would be a little complicated and a little difficult. So I'm happy they did that. Another thing I really like, if you guys actually zoom in here, or not zoom in, but I come in closer for you guys, there's little foam padding in there, and that's to make sure that this guy doesn't, you know, mess up your blade. And it does its job perfectly fine. You know, it goes in there and it keeps my blade secure, but also keeps it safe from any damage. I mean, taking out my ZT again, you guys can see absolutely nothing wrong with that mirror polish. Kind of more of a satin finish, but we'll talk about that. That's a conversation for a different day. But yeah, absolutely doesn't rub the blade, doesn't hurt the blade at all. It keeps it from hitting these guys here. Like, it's perfect. Another thing I really like is ease of use, and that was a big thing in case you guys missed me sharpening this guy. But ease of use is just amazing. This can be used by a toddler. This could be used by an 80-year-old man. You know, this is a sharpener that can be used by anybody. It's super easy and much easier than whetstones. Whetstones, you really have to watch your angles, and you have to make sure that you keep that angle, which is really hard to do. This has your angle set and ready to go. All you have to do is just grade the edge, just like so. So it makes life a lot easier. Another thing I really like about this guy are these stones they come with. These stones are kind of perfect for what you need. You have your 320, which works really well for getting out any any rolls or any chips in the blade. Really good at smoothing out and making it look much better. Another thing I really like, the 600 grit works really good for fine-tuning the edge. Maybe an 800 grit would be a little nicer. I'm actually tempted to get some new whetstones, because I only have a 1000 grit whetstone with a bottom side that has 500. So I could definitely use an 800 grit whetstone. That would definitely make it so I could maybe go from 500 to 800, and then I could kind of fine-tune with the ceramic stone. Which, by the way, the ceramic stone is really great. This thing really does fine-tune this edge. I mean, you guys could probably see here, look how shiny that edge is. That's like a pretty shiny edge. I'm actually really happy with what the ceramic stone does to my edge, and it makes it look really nice. So I definitely like that a lot. I guess another just really, really nice thing about this guy is it's cheap as well. You know, coming in at only 40 bucks. Usually it's some sharpening systems can be a little expensive. This one, really great. It's also not too heavy, which is always nice. You know, they make steel versions with wood on it that come a little heavy. This guy runs pretty good. But the primary thing I wanted to show is how well this guy actually works. So here's my notebook. I actually have a couple pages here for you guys, just so we can do this test real fast. So off camera, just so I wouldn't have to, bug you guys with this, I sharpened up my Tough Light, which for those of you who maybe are a little surprised by that, the Tough Light does fit in this guy, which I was surprised by too, but I more wanted to test, as you guys can see there, it fits, but just to test OS 8, I sharpened up my Tough Light and didn't sharpen up my CEO. Now, to my knowledge, the CEO is either OS 10 or S35 or S35, excuse me. I would hope so, but unfortunately it's not. Or 8CR13 MOV. So it's going to be a close steel comparison. But I did want to show you guys real fast what kind of, performance you're getting out of a non-sharpened knife and a knife that's been sharpened by the WorkSharp. So first off, here's the non-sharpened knife. It's a little hard, but it's not terrible. This guy has seen light use, but it's not super smooth cutting. It's okay, that was more user error, but it's not a super fine cut. If you guys can actually see that there, it's not super fine. It's actually kind of coarse. I mean, the fact that it's even cutting paper is pretty impressive, though. That's the CEO, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. Here's the Tough Light that has been sharpened. That was user error, by the way. Sorry about that, guys. I forget that there's that sharpening choil right there that'll screw you up, but sharpening choil again. There we go. As you guys can see, it's a lot smoother of a cut. It's actually a hell of a lot smoother. In case you guys want to see a little fast action. It's just so like buttery smooth with the cuts. And again, this guy was ran through the WorkSharp for maybe 5 minutes. It wasn't too long at all. And it's still quite a bit more sharp than, your CEO, which again, your CEO is pretty sharp for what it is, but it's just not very smooth. The cuts are pretty coarse and not super razor thin. This one is just finger choil again. Sorry guys. This guy's just super nice with its cuts. Super smooth. Feels like it cut through anything. It's like a lightsaber, and that's very nice. And again, it's AUS-8, so I mean, that's pretty impressive that a knife sharpener can turn AUS-8 this good. But anyways, the edges it makes are just insane. In fact, I'll show you guys that ZT that I just sharpened for you guys and show you guys just what this thing did to the ZT. Look at that. Buttery smooth. Now, the ZTs come in pretty sharp. Mine dulled because I think the edge wasn't as great as I thought it was. But the fact that only a couple runs through the WorkSharp makes it this sharp is pretty crazy. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys and say that this guy wasn't already pretty sharp, but just after running it through a couple more times, I mean, this guy could literally cut through the fabric of universe itself. I mean, look at that. 2 fingers. Look at that. How you guys like that? Little 2-finger action. Let me see what I can do. There we are. I'm going to try to... There we go. That's what we were looking for. But anyways, yeah, this sharpener's done some pretty crazy things. Even with, S35, even with AUS-8, it's just a really great blade steel overall. So that's very cool on what this guy was able to do and what its stones were able to do. Now going into what I don't like about this guy. Now, really, the only thing I kind of find annoying is this little sharpening system. Sometimes when it goes off the edge of a blade, it'll actually start cutting into this, and it makes me so nervous because if it hits the stones or the ceramic, it could damage the stones, which kind of scares me. So you'll be like sharpening this guy, just like calmly sharpening it, and then all of a sudden you'll get a little too close to the tip and the thing will just slide down, and it'll either stab into it usually stabs into the plastic, but it's almost stabbed into the stone once or twice, and that's made me very, very nervous because that again could ruin the stone, could ruin the tip of the blade, could ruin a lot of things. So it's a little scary. Another thing I don't really like, this button is a little hard to use. It's not super bad, but it maybe is just a little too tight with the spring. So that gets a little annoying. Another thing I don't like, to put this little post into the metal thing, the little magnet piece right there, it's very hard. It is not very easy to do, but you can get it eventually. Another thing, disassembly is maybe not the easiest thing once you get to this point here. I don't know if you guys saw at the beginning of the video, but I had kind of a hard time. You got to put a lot of pressure on it, but you can get it eventually. That's pretty much the only gripes I have with this guy. Otherwise, it's a pretty great sharpener. Again, I've been using this guy for the past few weeks. He's done great work on all my Spydercos. I've literally sharpened every one of my Spydercos, from my native chief, which cuts just like so, to my military, which cuts like that, and my PM2, which razor blade. And I also, just for kind of jokes, wait, sorry, I didn't sharpen that one. I sharpened this one. Okay, I sharpened my Frenzy. There we go. And although it was not as great as I was hoping for, it still did the job, at least to a certain... Did I sharpen the Frenzy? Or hold on, give me a second, guys. There we go. I sharpened the Voyager, so I was right the first time. So, sharpen the Voyager, not the Frenzy. Going to be sharpening... Oh, sorry, guys. That was my bad. Going to be sharpening the Frenzy soon, though, so be looking for that. That could be a fun video. But yeah, so this guy is just, you know, it's so big and so, like, monstrous of a knife that was still able to be sharpened pretty good. I also sharpened this little point up here, in case you guys are wondering. I'll try to... There you go, a little bit. But yeah, so this guy can sharpen knives of all sizes. It's a beastly sharpener that I've been actually using myself, and I can 100% recommend for you guys. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry this video was a little sloppy. This is my first time reviewing a knife sharpener. Maybe my next one will be a little cleaner, but not a bad sharpener at all, and I 100% recommend this. If you are a newcomer to knife sharpening, this is the knife sharpener to get. WorkSharp is an impeccable knife sharpening company who make really great products, and again, they work. They work really well. In fact, my military, I took out and went camping with it not too long ago, completely dulled out the edge. And the fact that this thing is back to factory sharp is just crazy. In case you guys don't know, Spyderco makes a pretty crazy edge straight out the factory. So the fact that this guy's edge is still just so impeccable, just from running it through the WorkSharp for maybe like 20 minutes, I 100% recommend this sharpener for you guys. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you enjoyed. And with that being said, thank you.